All right, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, if I can ask you guys not to send me any text messages while I'm up here, I'd really appreciate that. Because listen, when all of a sudden you get a text message in here and you're up here performing, it's like you have a wall of text in front of you, and it's like, well, it's like hitting a wall, except a wall of text, right? And that can really throw you off. So if you can hold off any comments like that till the end, we'd really appreciate it. Really, the best way to get in touch with us, if you have any comments like that, is to join our Discord. Also, I can ask you guys to stay off of the stage area here. This way, nobody blocks the display behind me, and I have a little bit of room to move around, do that whole hosting thing, right? Also, you may have noticed that you have your, in your menu wheel in your lower left there, at the very top of that, you have a microphone icon. Now, when that's clear, we can hear everything that's happening in your environment, and I do mean everything, right? So what we've done is we've gone ahead, we've turned that to red, and this means that you mute it, right? So that means, like, if you have somebody come into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? You feel free to answer them because we're not going to hear any of that. Likewise, if maybe you have a barking dog in the background, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? Now, just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice there's a pink cheeked smiley face in your menu wheel there, and when you click on it, your emoji panel opens up in the air in front of you, giving you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself. So if I share something really deep, something powerful, and it touches you right here and it starts to build up, you can just let it out and just let it flow just like that. Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And they come out and we break into It's Quest Time, the musical, and you're all very impressed. You can throw up the applause that I live for, and I can take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good. All right, if maybe I ask you guys a yes or no question, you could say yes by smiling like this, or you can say no by frowning like that. And then, if I say or do something funny, you can show me you're laughing with this silly faced emoji right here. And then there's this thing. This is by far the most distracting of all the emojis. I think we could agree on that, right? You get a strange hand coming out of your head. Now, we're not going to use this to ask questions or anything like that because we will be taking questions and comments at the end of this event. But we're going to use this to signal me in the event that something goes horribly wrong. Like maybe my voice gets choppy. That can happen sometimes. Or maybe the moderators have seen It's Quest Time one too many times and they've decided to set the display behind me on fire. That's happened before. It's probably going to happen again. So if all of a sudden the stage bursts into flames, you guys got to let me know that. That's going to be our sacred bond, people. That's right. So what we're going to do now is, let's see. Also, you can press that X in the middle of the emoji panel to close it. Right? But it's a good idea to keep it open during events like this because, one, it lets me know how I'm doing, gives me some feedback. But more importantly, it lets the people around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they find something funny. And you may not agree. You might be like, well, that's not funny at all. What's with this guy? I'm not going to take that. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can totally do that because this is VR, except not right here because we agreed you weren't going to be coming up on the stage. All right, that was our pact, people. That was our bond. All right, now you may be wondering why there's a shark on the stage with me. All right, it's pretty unusual, right? This is because one of our other events is called It's Shark Time. It's a game show where you can win kits and prizes. We're going to be running another one of those on Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern. So if you're around, come by and check it out. You'll find it under the all category of your events tab in your main menu. All right, that's like co-host over there. I've been bringing them around, showing them my sets. Really giving them a good tour of Altspace there. All right, now Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on a device, feel free to hang out. You may pick up some useful information that helps the growing Quest community because there's new Quest users coming into Altspace each and every day. Now, before we set out, let me ask you guys a question. All right, now use your emojis or put your hands up because you can. How many of you want a Quest right now? Let me see it. Hands up or emojis. Let me see. What do you got? How many Quest users we got in the audience? All right, good. How many of you guys are new to Altspace? Any new Altspace users here? All right, well, a couple of you. All right, a few. All right, well, more than a few. All right, well, welcome to Altspace. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. A lot of cool stuff in here. All right, now, how many of you were used to be on an Oculus Go, but you switched to an Oculus Quest? Any former Go users here? I got one in the back. All right, cool. All right, good to know. All right, now let's see. When I was waiting for my Quest to arrive, right, I was on an Oculus Go at the time, and as some of you may know, you have only one controller there. Now, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, so like for me, like when I was in Altspace, I talk with my hands a lot. And all anybody ever saw was my hand going like this, right? So I couldn't wait for the second controller. I couldn't wait to be doing all the things with both of the hands there, right? And but then when my Quest arrived, I took a good look at the controls and I was like, man, that's a lot of buttons. That's a lot to take in. It's a lot to get used to. So what I like to do is I like to go over these controllers for new users to kind of acclimate, and for the users that have been around for a while who know what they're doing, we have some movement exercises that kind of make it fun for everybody while everybody gets skilled up, right? I mean, listen, if you're here, you know the basics, right? You know the left thumbstick's going to move you around like this. You know the right thumbstick's going to turn you around. And when you combine the two of them, you get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If you guys could do this, because when I look out, it's going to look like you guys are ballroom dancing. Come on, give me some spins like this. Let me see what you got here, people. Nice. Oh, you guys are a fancy crowd today. That looks really cool. I always say I wish you guys could see what this looks like, and now you can. If you look up in the air, you're going to see Ravenhall floating up there. That's our YouTube channel. So if you want to feel VR famous, you can stand up in front of this rug here and wave on out, because we got a lot of people in here. We got Salazar. We've got, let's see, who else we got? We got Eric the Man. We've also got Crimson. We've got Tom LaPaz or Tom Laps. We've got Tyler 4467. We've got Hummingbird over here. We got a lot of people in here. So come on into YouTube. Coming into YouTube. Wow, I really said that. Come on into Altspace YouTube. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, cool. You know, well, maybe we could go to YouTube. Maybe we'll like open up a portal and we'll just like here on YouTube, like and just hang out and watch videos or something. All right, well, let's start out here. The first button that we're going to discuss is your grip button. Now, your grip button can be found on the side of either controller here. Just trying to find my pointer. I'm actually just stalling for time because I got to hop through menus to get it. There we go. Here we are. There we go. There we go. Successful stall. All right, now on the side of your controller, right here and here, right, you got that grip button, and you're going to use this to interact with your environment. That's how I'm grabbing this laser pointer here. If you're in the world beta building program, not easy to say, but easy to activate by going to your main menu, going into settings, general, and then activating it there. If you're, allow you to build worlds with your own two hands, right? Now, when you're in the world editor, though, it's going to change the behavior of your right thumbstick when you grab an object. No longer, is it going to turn you around back and forth while you're holding an object, but it's going to change the size of the object if you move the stick left to right, the right thumbstick. If you move the right thumbstick forward or back, it's going to push the object away or bring it closer to you, right? You can also use this to grab, these grip buttons. You can also use them to grab those beanbags in a campfire, those fireworks that you can shoot. And also, those basketballs that maybe my backup dancers can toss me out some. If anybody's never tried the grip button, now you can get a handle on it. Get it? You can get a handle on the grip button. Or no, you can get a grip on the grip button. How's that? That's cool. I'm going to toss a couple of these out here, actually a few of them. This way, if you've never tried it, you can really get a sense for it. So go ahead and throw those around. Now, listen, if you're having a room scale experience in Altspace, and you walk out past your main menu, for some reason, that's always the time somebody's going to ask you to open your main menu. They're going to say, look to your lower left, you're going to see this blue and white triangle there, and you're going to look there, and you're like, there's nothing there, man, right? So you're going to look around, we're going, where is this thing? I just saw it a minute ago. And you're looking around for it. It's like always behind you. It always goes that way. It's important to remember that on a Quest, your main menu is in your hands at all times, right? On your left controller down toward the bottom here, you've got this very innocent flat-looking button here. Turns out that is your main menu, right? So I'll be honest with you, I haven't touched that blue and white triangle button in months. When I want to open my main menu, I just flick my hand out like that, and press that flat button on the left controller. My menu's open. I flick it again. My menu's closed. You don't actually have to do the hand flick to do that. I just feel like it adds something. All right, now, when I first came into Altspace on my Quest, I went to the campfire, right, to test it out, and I found I was much taller than everybody. Right, I was looking around. I was like, "Wow, man! I had like some kind of growth spurt or something. I don't know what's going on here." It turns out that when you press down on your left thumbstick, it's going to cause you to reset there. Bradley, go ahead and press down your left thumbstick. Show everybody what that looks like. Boom, just like that. So if you're feeling too tall or too short in Altspace, just press down that left thumbstick, and you'll readjust yourself. The important thing to remember is that this movement is attached to your head. So if you're looking down and you press down on that left thumbstick, boom, you're going to pop up a little bit. Right? If you're looking up when you're doing it, then you're going to be a little bit shorter than everybody. What you want to do to get the appropriate Altspace height is look straight ahead and press down on that left thumbstick. It's also useful if like you're in here with somebody in real life and you're used to them being like a little bit shorter than you. Right? One way to compensate for that is to look down, press down on that left thumbstick like it's a button because it is, and boom, you come right up, and that's going to make you feel a little bit taller. Right? So you can adjust your height in that way. All right. Now, also, another thing that we have here on the right controller next to the thumbstick, this very top button here, that's your teleport button. And it's a really great way to get around Altspace. What you can do is, if everybody join me up along this wall here, and when we get here, if you press down on that right teleport button there and aim at the ground, you're going to see a round teleport target appear on the floor. Now, if you aim it across the room to that wall, as soon as you let go, boom, you get thrown right across the room. Everybody teleport over to me while there's still time. You can do it. I believe in you. All right. Also, if you press your left trigger button, when you press that left trigger button and squeeze that in there, this is going to enable you to go faster, whether you're walking or you're flying through Altspace. So if you hold down on that left trigger button and we run around here, we can go into a giant circle. Let's make it rain, people. All right. Let's make a hurricane or a whirlpool action. If you're getting dizzy, you probably don't want to do this thing, but let's see how you're doing. I'm going to take a look out here. Let's check your formation, people. That is not a circle. I don't know what that is. That is not a figure eight. That is not a circle. That is, well, that's just kind of chaos. It's like, you know what, before you guys were ballroom dancing, now it just looks like you're like thrashing in some kind of pit or something. I don't know. It's not very organized, I got to say. Anybody dizzy? Is anybody dizzy yet? Probably a little bit dizzy. Yeah, Bradley's dizzy. All right, cool. All right, so let's see here. Now, another thing you got to keep in mind. Listen, when I started messing around with that teleport stuff, I went to the Universe, and back then it was held in a very large world, right? So when the event was over, I went exploring, and I went to the edge of the world, right? And I look over the edge, and I got a little bit too far, and I fell. And as I'm falling, I look over, and there's this cliff over to the side. So what I did was I held down my teleport button, and I aimed at that cliff. Right, and as soon as I let my teleport button go, boom, I was thrown on that cliff to safety, right? Because look, it's not like you can get hurt in Altspace, but in that moment, I knew I was finally getting used to the controls, and you will too. It only takes a few days to a week or so, but there's going to come a point in time, you'll remember me saying this, you'll always feel the plastic in your hands, but there's going to come a moment where these become your hands. You no longer think about what you're doing. If I tell everybody, hey, everybody, look out that window, right? I don't think about how I'm doing it. I just do it. It takes more effort to explain how I'm doing it. Now, if you squeeze your grip buttons on either side of the controller there, you're going to find that your hands go into a point like this, right? And give that a try. And you can use this in a variety of ways. You can give me a Brooklyn hello like this. You can be like, how you doing, everybody? How's it going? Right? Just like that, right? Or maybe you can put them together like this, make a triangle, make the Altspace logo. Hold them up high, everybody. Show me some Altspace pride, people. Oh, that's looking good. Very nice. All right. Now, if you twist it around like this, you can make a picture frame, right? Do it like that, right? How cool would it be? Now, if you squeeze your trigger, you get a little shutter action there. Can you imagine taking screenshots like this and be like, oh, you're a great audience. Snap, 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 snap. Get that going. Let's see what we got here. We got anonymous. Wow, it's hard to say, but you look just like a camera. It's freaking me out. I'm like, why is there a camera over there? Okay, so what do we got going on here? Now, also, it threw me off. I thought that was the camera. Strange. All right. Let's see here. We have also, wow, yeah, okay. So if you hold down your grip button and your trigger button, you got two thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing, right? Be like, yeah, you're doing a good job. You got thrown off, but you picked it up. All right. No, not such a good thing. You thought that was the camera. How could you? Two thumbs down, right? Maybe you don't know yet. Give me a little bit of both. Right? Lately, I've been seeing people do this. I don't know what this means, but it looks cool, right? It does. If you touch your thumbs to the buttons or the thumbsticks without pressing down, you're going to find that your thumbs go down, and you can combine this into kind of a cool dance move, just like that, right? Look at that. Kind of be dancing along just like that. Right? Yeah. I'm told this doesn't look as cool as it feels, but this is kind of how I dance when I'm in Altspace. I think it's neat. All right. So, and listen, the best way to pick this stuff up is when you see somebody doing a gesture that you like, try mirroring it, right? And in that way, you can make it your own. Like one of the first quest times we ever had, we had somebody go up to the stage and go like this, right? And I thought it was pretty neat, so I did it back. And then all of a sudden, the whole audience started going like this, right? And it looked pretty awesome, right? And that's the best way to pick this stuff up, right? You just copy it, you make it your own. Like say you like the way Tyler's waving his arms back and forth like that, right? And everybody could do this here, right? Yeah, and we got the whole audience just kind of dancing and grooving along. Let's everybody move, get that blood flowing. Very nice. All right, awesome. All right, let's see here. Now, what else do we have that you guys need to know about? Oh, yeah. Now, this button is really important, and don't press it now because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it, right? Let's say somebody comes in your space and says, hey, dinner's ready, something important like that. And you're like, ooh, gotta go. The fastest and best route out of Altspace is right on your right controller, down toward the bottom. You've got this flat button right here. It looks real innocent, but it's very powerful. When you press down on that, your Oculus main menu is going to open up, and you're going to have an option to quit or resume. Now, this is great because if you're up at the Universe and you're dancing around and you're having a good time and you accidentally press that button and get that menu, all you have to do is hit resume, and you're going to find that you're right back in Altspace. It's like you never left. Usually you won't even notice it, and that way she won't destroy you with her awesome admin powers. But this button is also useful to use in the event when something goes wrong, right? So if, for example, like I'm looking out the window over there, oh, very nice, and then I turn back to face you guys, the whole world moves with me, right? That can make you feel really dizzy when you're in VR when that happens, when you have that kind of an error, right? So it's important to know how to get out quick if you're feeling sick like that. You just hit that flat button, then you hit quit, and then you restart the app, and that's going to take care of most of your problems, right? But occasionally something more serious might happen. right? Like maybe, on the edges of your screen, you see this black void. It's on your left, it's up top, it's on the bottom, it's to the right, it's surrounding you, and all of your friends are frozen in space just like that. What you got to keep in mind with that happens, right, is, you've got that eject button, right? So you hit that eject button. Let's say it doesn't work. What are you going to do? You're going to be like, Michael Forrest lied to me. I will have my revenge. That's not what's going on. Sometimes an app can freeze like that, not just Altspace, but your other apps too. So it pays to know how to restart your headset while it's still on your head. When I first got my Quest, I would take my headset off to restart it. But if I was, using it while I was plugged in and it wasn't in a charge cycle and that light wouldn't light up and I was in a rush and it took so long to restart it, I got to thinking something was wrong with my headset, right? And I found it was good to actually learn how to restart your headset while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is you take your index finger of your right hand and you swipe it along your headset, right on the side there till you feel that raised up power button. Now, when you do, you take the index finger of your left hand and you kind of squeeze them together like that. I find it helps to look down like you're in a deep concentration pose, right? So I, go into that pose there, and after about 4 seconds, I concentrate so hard my avatar disappears, right? And I get plunged into the darkness, but I don't let go. I hang in and I ride it out. After about 10 seconds, all of a sudden I start wondering, why did Oculus make this take so long? I don't know. About 15 seconds go by, I start thinking about friends I haven't seen in a while. I wonder how they're doing, 20 seconds go by, I start thinking about life. I start thinking about the big questions, right? And then after that, after a few more seconds go by, and all of a sudden, out of the darkness, the Oculus logo emerges like the bat signal. And when it starts to pulse, I just pull my fingers away, just like that. And then what happens is the device starts normally. I come back into Altspace, and this is going to solve, most of your problems, not just in Altspace, but also, on other apps as well. But occasionally, something even more serious can happen. Right. There's one time I came out of Altspace and I was confronted with this message that said Oculus Home is closing. I'd never seen it before. And there was this blue button that said OK. So I pressed OK, thinking that was the right thing to do. And then the screen just said loading. Right. And this went on for about a couple of minutes. I'm like, so there's something wrong. Deep concentration pose. Right. And now, my device restarted. I came back in. My main menu didn't appear. It just said loading. I knew something was seriously wrong. So I consulted my good friend Google, who knows all the things many. And then Google said many people were having this problem, and the best thing you could do was a factory reset. So I tried the factory reset, and listen, if you do that, it's going to put the device back the way it was when you got it, right? This is great to know that's there, but you have to keep in mind, if you have any pictures saved on your device, you're going to lose that. Right? All of your apps, you're going to have to reinstall them. You won't have to pay for them again, but you will have to re-download them, and all of your settings are going to go away, right? And you may even lose your Beat Saber score. So this is serious business. Only use this in an emergency, but it does pay to know that it is an option. All right, here. I see somebody frowning to the Beat Saber scores. I know. That's just such a hit. Because you have to do that all over again. All right, now, let's see. Now, listen, if you're here today, you're already familiar with your Guardian system, but what you may not be familiar with is how to use the Guardian system to your advantage while you're in Altspace. Let's say you're new to VR and you get dizzy a lot, right? One little trick that you can do is take a good look at your hand, right? And while you're looking at that hand, right, ask yourself, just take a look at that thing, right, until that dizziness passes. And then when it does, you slowly take your hand away and take in the world around you. That can help clear that up. But you can also use your Guardian system for this purpose too. Right? What you're going to find is all right, listen, I always tell everybody, when you mess with your Guardian system, be very careful. You don't want to injure yourself. You don't want to damage your device. Because a lot of times in Altspace, you'll see somebody walking along, they're having a good day, then all of a sudden, bam, they hit a real world wall, because those real world walls are a menace, and they're hard to say. They are, right? So what you can do is, if you walk up, let's say I walk up to my real world wall right now, right? I got my hands out, because it pays to lead with your hands when you're doing this. And that grid appears in the air or in front of me, right? So I got that grid there, but I can still touch my thumbsticks, right? So I can move my avatar around in VR while I'm standing still in front of that real world wall, right? And I can position, right, the grid to line up with my real world wall right here against this display here. Then I can back up, see how I did, take it all in there, back, oh, that looks good. And then all of a sudden, oh no, I've fallen off the stage. I'm in the audience with you guys. And let's say you're not a nice audience, all right? So why don't you come mess with me here? Try to make me dizzy. Give me the worst you got. Stick your hands in my face, spin around me, just mess me up. Get it out of your system. Let's see what you got here. All right, you guys are really being a little bit too nice. Usually you guys are a lot more rough than this, because I can still see that display. As long as I can still see that display, I'm going to feel anchored and connected to the real world, right? And you don't even have to use, something big like that. You can use the edge of the stage here, right? Line this up with a real world table or a real world desk. That'll work, right? And, so that's a good way for you to feel balanced by creating a connection to the real world in that way. I like to think of it as a reality anchor. It's a pretty cool thing to do, and it'll help you, especially if you're new to VR. All right, now, also, you can transition between a room scale and a stationary experience pretty effortlessly. Let's say I'm up here, right? And I'm like, you know what? I've hosted over 400 events in Altspace, and I'm exhausted. I'm really tired, and I got another one coming up later. I think maybe it'll help if I sit down, right? So I go up to my edge of my Guardian, I lead with my hands, right? I make sure I got enough room for my head to pass through. And as soon as I move my head through, the pass-through camera goes off. But now there's that neat new experimental feature where you can double tap the outside of the headset. You can be like, tap, tap. And then, and then you can see the real world, right? And I say, oh, I got my coffee mug right here. Take a sip of that. Throw that down. I'm going to have to clean that up later. That was probably a bad idea. And then I've got my chair over here. And what I can do is I can walk on over to my chair, right? I can turn around. I can sit down in that chair. And when I do, right, I got this button there that says, I'm going to have like a stationary experience, right? So I hit that stationary experience button. And what happens, right, is I find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never actually left. Right. And it just works in the other direction, too. But there's this one time I was helping to moderate out at an event there. And, I felt like getting up and walking around. Yeah, the event was almost over, right? I figured, it'd be cool. So I get up and I figure I'm going to walk into my Guardian. But sometimes in Altspace, and actually in any app, really, sometimes your Quest can lose your Guardian system. And when that happens, it wants you to, make a new one. No big deal. And this happens because of changing light levels. If for one reason or another, it can't resolve where it is in your space. And, it's not a big deal. Just draw another one out, right? But when there's 2 minutes left in the event, it's a very big deal. So I panic and I start drawing out that boundary there. And as I'm drawing out that boundary, I wonder, why is my area so big? Right. And I wonder, of all the days I had to moderate for an admin, why did it have to be today? And then when I close that loop, what happens is the grid comes up out of the ground and I find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left. That's pretty awesome, right? So you can basically you can transition between a room scale and a stationary experience pretty effortlessly in Altspace, and allows you to be comfortable without having to, oh, let me take my headset off. And, it's very comfortable to do, and it's a good thing. Now, this next thing I'm going to show you, it's just cool. This isn't useful at all, but it's just neat. If you go up to the edge of your space and you stick your hands out, you get that grid, right? Make sure you got enough room for your head to pass through. And when you stick your head through, you can see the real world, right? But if you do this super slow, you can see both realities at the same time. And this is cool because it'll give you a sense of the scale of Altspace avatars. Like, did you know Altspace avatars are about 6 feet tall? Right? And they're pretty wide, too. And you really don't realize this until you see them in a familiar environment, like your living room, your office, or wherever you VR from. All right, cool. So give that a try. That's a lot of fun to do. All right, now, the great thing about the Quest is it just works. It doesn't mean it can't work better, right? There's a lot of accessories that can really improve the experience. Like, those earbuds that kind of dangle down from the side. I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but when I'm wearing these things, I like to think I look fancy, right? Now, what can happen is, when the first time I tried these out, listen, the sound on the Quest is great. So I wasn't expecting much from these things. I put them in, I go to the campfire, I test them out. And you guys know there's a breeze in the campfire, right? I've been in Altspace for like close to 2 years. And man, I didn't know there was a breeze in the campfire. I went over to that fence area over to the side, right? And I heard the water rushing, right? It was really cool. I didn't know that, that was available. It turns out there's a lot of like really great ambient sound in Altspace that can make the experience so much more immersive. It's really great. All right, let's see here. Here we go. We got, and another thing we also have is, listen, Oculus does not advertise this enough, all right? But it takes your headset a while to break in. So when people first get the Quest, they think it's uncomfortable, right? And I know a lot of people have returned the device because of this. Actually, when I first got my device, I had a sore on my forehead from using it. But it turns out that there's a breaking in period, and they don't promote this enough, right? Because the oils in your face will actually soften the insert, and the springs, when the tension, when it breaks in a little bit, the tension will change, and that'll actually affect the balance of the device, right? So a lot of times people way too early will go, oh, my Quest is so uncomfortable. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to get a counterbalanced weight. I'm going to get external battery packs. I'm going to get all the things many, and I'm going to get this thing fixed. And then in a couple of weeks, when the device breaks in, the balance shifts again, and they're like, you know what? This thing is just not comfortable. I'm going to return it. Right. And if they had known about the breaking in period, then they would have waited a couple of weeks before they modified it. Because in a couple of weeks of use, if you still find it's uncomfortable and you don't get to a point where, you don't feel it on your face, where these just become your eyes in the same way that these become your hands and those earbuds kind of make it just become your ears, right? And you're in here. If that doesn't happen to you and you're like, every time I'm in Altspace, I feel like my head's going to just like slump forward. I'm looking down like I'm depressed all the time because it's so heavy. That's the time to modify it. And there's a variety of products that can really help you with that. But make sure you give it a few weeks while, give it a chance to break in first. And then when you try these products, you'll find that the second product here from VR Cover, this thing's great. It feels like you have your face in a pillow, right? And it gives you two of them. So this way you can like clean one while the other one is in use. It's really a great product to have and to use. Also, listen, You want to protect your device because this thing's not like your toaster, man. If something goes wrong with this and you're like, you're spending a lot of time in VR and you've made friends in here, right? I've seen people lose their headset and they experience it like an actual loss. Like, let's say you wear eyeglasses and you scratch your glasses and your VR lenses, that can get pretty expensive, right? They have prescription inserts that can help with that. Also, there's this travel case here. Listen, the box that the Quest comes in is fantastic. But if you're going to be moving around a lot, you can't go wrong with one of these travel cases. If you want to try any of these products, you can find them by going to altvr.com. In the upper left, you're going to see a link that says channels. And when you click on that, you're going to see all these wonderful Altspace event channels, right? And down toward the bottom, the admins assure me that doesn't mean anything, but down toward the bottom, you're going to see Ravenhall events, like it says up at the sound booth over there, right? Now, when you click on that, you get taken to our event page, and you'll see all these products listed down on the left-hand side if you want to give any of them a try. And if you're watching out on YouTube, you're going to find links to these products in the description below. Also on that page, you will find a join Discord button if you want to get in touch with us, ask us any questions, say hello, or help us put on events like this. That's where we organize all that stuff. And in the upper right is the most important button on the internet. It's true. That's where they keep it. It's a subscribe button. And when you press that, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content, and we don't get paid to do this. So every time we see that number go up, it makes us feel great. We really enjoy that. It feels even better when you guys subscribe to a YouTube channel. There's nothing like that. If you guys do that, I'm just going to be like, you know what? That person was my favorite today. It's true. All right, now, listen, we are going to be taking your questions and your comments now, right? So the way we're going to do this is you are going to notice in your lower right there, you can see a raise hand button appear as if by magic, right? And you press on that, we'll call on you, and I'll get to feel like a radio host. And listen, while we wait for it to fill up, if you guys are on Twitter and you want to follow us there, you can find us at Ravenhall VR. I know it says _ Uncanny Valley, but we got to update the slides because we just had a name change. I know it's not very professional, but we got to do that. All right, so you'll find us at Ravenhall VR. All right, now let's see what we got here. Let's see here. We've got Firedog1. You're on the air, and I feel like a radio announcer. You out there, Firedog1? Where are you? Let's see. I'm not seeing you. Where are you, Firedog1? Going once? Going twice? No? Okay. Well, we tried, Firedog1. We tried. All right, let's see. Here we go. Let's see who else we got. Maybe press the button by accident. That can happen. All right, we've got Tyler, 4467. What's going on, Tyler?
What's the YouTube channel's name? I'm trying to subscribe.
If you do a search
many
for Ravenhall Labs or Ravenhall Events, you'll find us there. Either one of those, you'll see us there.
Events. Okay.
Yeah, or Ravenhall Labs. You'll find any one of our videos there.
And about the break-in, the thing about the VR headset breaking through and stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That happened to me right away, and I was like, wow. Because at first I was like, this isn't comfortable at all. But then it takes a while. Really comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you had expected that, when you put the headset on and they gave you that tour where you dance with the robot, if the robot stopped you and said, hey, listen, buddy, I know your head's uncomfortable right now, but in a couple of weeks it's going to feel much better. Wouldn't it have been easier if you'd known that?
Yeah,
they got to put that in the tour. I'm going to write Oculus immediately. We deserve to know. The people deserve to know.
They should advertise it with the headset.
Yes, they should. All right, listen, what we're going to do now is, because we are about out of time, is we are going to be pressing this big red shiny button next to me on the wall. Right now, what this big red shiny button is going to do is you're going to see a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft fly down the street, and it's going to go up over those trees and land in the backyard, take us out to the Ravenhall Flight Academy, where if you haven't learned how to fly yet, we are going to teach you. And again, if any of you came in late and are wondering, why, this guy's good, but why is there a shark on the stage with him? Right? What's that about? Right? That's because of our other event, it's Shark Time, which is a game show where you can win world building kits, right? Have a lot of fun. It's a good time. We're going to be running our next one Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern, so check it out on the all category of your events tab. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press this button here. Watch what happens. Look out the window and watch this. Here we go.
Ravenhall Talon aircraft en route to your position.
There it is. Now you guys can actually fly the ship, so come on with me here. We'll give that a try. All right, now also, listen, if you've learned here, and thanks for waving us out, Bradley. That's awesome. Very helpful. Cool. Come on, guys. Let's go. If you've learned anything here today, please let everybody know you come in contact with. Like, say somebody's down on the ground, you go, oh, what's wrong? And you're like, I'm on a quest and I'm stuck on the ground. You tell them to press down on that left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because you help somebody. And that's how we keep this thing going. All right, here we go, people. Here it comes.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, everybody. You've been a great audience. I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.